Hello, everyone. It's Keith here again. Just to give a word of encouragement, I want to say that there's things out there that's going on that we don't have any control over. Some of the things are just not to our liking, and I've said this before, but I just want to read one passage. This one passage in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. It's verse 7 through 10 says, "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We're perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Jesus, that the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our body." It goes on to say in the same chapter, verse 16, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." And then verse 18, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen, they're temporal. But the things which are not seen are eternal." That's something I always try to remember. When there's things going on that, especially if I don't have control over, if I don't like it, maybe there's things going on in the lives of people that you care about. Maybe you may have the answer, but maybe they can't hear the answer. Sometimes what the answer is we have to ask the Lord to reach them through somebody they can hear, because they can't always hear from us. I mean, we can tell them, but it just doesn't seem to register. And in that case, there's just not a whole lot you can do to convince them of what they ought to do. And if we get into the place with that where we're really concerned because we care about them, many times the only thing, and I know this should be the first thing to do, is to just take it to prayer. But a lot of times, the way I think, I couldn't lay this on everybody, but it's just like I can see the answer so simple, but it just doesn't seem to register. And so therefore, we just accept that and know the things going on around us, we just can't change, but God can change. Prayer changes things. And so we always have to just remember that we have the promise that He does hear. He hears our prayers, and He does answer. So if you're going through anything like that, I mean, there's things all around us. There's, as simple as the price of fuel. You go to the pump one day, and maybe it costs you a fourth more than it normally does to put your gas in your car. Maybe you hadn't really had a big enough budget, to cover that. Sometimes it amounts to the fact that things are changing around us all the time. We really don't have control over that. I personally have a lot of hope that this year we're past an election year. Maybe, hopefully things are going to start to get better for us in the economic system. But there's no guarantee of that. I mean, a lot of people are counting on one man. But honestly, one man, it's great when one man does what one man can do. But unless there's a whole lot of other things going along with it, a lot of times it's still very difficult for things to change. So I think a lot of times just having a good attitude, and we want to have hope and be optimistic, but we really can't count. We can't count on everything going the way we want it to go. And as long as it's like that, and it always is in this world, we have to remember too, things do change on a continual basis. It's always things are changing. And I don't particularly like change. I mean, most of us, we would welcome change if it was things that are very good. But then again, on the other end of the scale, if things get really good, you start thinking, wait a minute, this feels different. Something feels wrong. We got to be careful too not to let that trip us up, because honestly, we ought to always be ready for things to not be the best, and be planning, be hoping that they are, but be planning that maybe they won't be. So we won't have to go through all this getting ourselves built up for something that's not going to be there. So all I'm saying is this: let's be optimistic. Let's all have a good attitude. Let's be ready for the good things, and let's be ready sometimes if the good things will take a little longer than we expected. So I just want to encourage you, remember, God sees all. He hears all. He loves you. He cares about you, and He has your best interest at heart no matter what you're going through. And so I'm going to leave it at that note and say, God bless you. Thanks for watching the videos, and see you next time.